Kingdom Financial Consulting Group, man. We're a small business consulting firm for financials. If you have a small business and you just need financial consulting, man, just tap in with me. You can reach us at infokfcg@gmail.com. We have Instagram is Kingdom Financial _consulting, and tap in with us, man. Whatever you need, you feel like you ready to scale, we'll help you scale, man. We'll help you build, and that's why our expertise is helping small businesses scale and build, and to understand that space, and to really just make it work. Yeah, man. So yeah.
I tell you lies and it's just so toxic. You lie, I lie too. Girl, I don't love you. You know it's lies when I say it's just you. But don't be mad, boo. I once believed you.
First, let me make this clear. It's DNS Soldier. And this is Robby Too Fast. And thank you for tuning into the Two Sides of the Heart podcast today. We have a gentleman that grew up on the Eastern Shore. Now, give me a second because he wrote a lot. He said he grew up on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. The small town, tight community environment shaped him in a major way. Faith, family, and work ethic were foundational. He is the founder and principal financial consultant of Kingdom Financial Consulting Group, a faith-centered financial consulting firm he launched in 2022 and transitioned into full-time leadership in 2024. Okay.
Before becoming a full-time entrepreneur, though, he spent 16 years in banking. 10 of those years he was in accounting. He attended Goldie Beacom College and the University of Global Campus, UMGC, focusing on business and accounting related coursework. In addition to formal education, much of his development has been hands-on with his 16 years inside of banking and finance. He's a father of 4, the youngest of 5 with 4 sisters. Okay. He said being the only boy and the youngest in a house full of sisters definitely builds character. Having girls and sisters definitely does build character. It taught him awareness, emotional intelligence, respect for women, and how to navigate different personalities early. It also shaped his protectiveness and leadership instincts. He is actively involved in faith-based leadership and ministry work, as well as for-profit and nonprofit financial advisory spaces. Beyond professional memberships, he's deeply invested in community empowerment, particularly financial literacy, men's development, and faith-driven leadership initiatives. I hope y'all are ready to welcome Terrell Moore. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm good, y'all. How y'all doing?
Man, I'm good, man.
Hey, nice to be here, man. I told you, I'm excited, man. Definitely excited.
Glad you can make it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man. Soldier?
Well, let's get it started.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Who is Terrell Moore?
Well, Terrell, again, he's a man now who grew up again in a small town from Graysonville. Grew up again, like I say, I have 4 sisters. I'm the only boy. And at a young age, man, that really shaped me, man. And to being the only boy, you got to kind of develop, either you're going to develop the protectiveness, right? You're going to develop that awareness of emotion, right? Because you're around a lot of emotion. So as me, I'm kind of a conglomerate of a lot of things, but at my core, I'm just a laid back guy. Just like to have a good time. And I love, just being me, that's my space of just now embracing all of those things, right? All of those things, yeah. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So why are faith, family, and work ethic foundational?
Because again, faith is like I said, it's a fabric, bro. Like I grew up in church. I grew up every day we was doing something for church, and it's a fabric of how I live, you know what I mean? And how I, conduct myself, and that faith part is big, you know what I mean? Because again, as a little boy, growing up in church is like, you know how it is, you just there, and you don't know like how it's going to affect you. But I mean, as I gotten older, got more involved, and, had my space of like, where I didn't want to do that whole thing, and but at the end of the day, the Bible speaks about it. You train up a child in the way they should go. Look, they're gonna have some spaces, but when they get older, they're gonna return back to it. So that faith is the fabric, because at the end of the day, I came back to that as I grew up, man, and became a man. It's in me. I tell my sisters all the time, like, yo, this stuff in us, yo. We ain't gonna, ain't going nowhere. We just got to know how to navigate it as we, get older, and we develop our own perspectives and different, views on things. But at the end of the day, that core that faith, that family, man. My family's real close. Like, me and my sisters, we tight, you know what I mean? I've heard, you know, it's different people like, yo, how y'all get so tight? It's like, that's just all we know. Cause you know what I mean? Growing up in the spaces and dealing with different things and some trauma, you know, you create that connectivity. So that family stuff is, you know, we ride or die with you. Y'all know how I go. Like, man, let me tell you, my sisters, and being the youngest is like, you know, they say I'm spoiled or whatever. It's like, whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm big bro now, you know, back then it was like, but it's like, man, my sisters don't play. Them girls, man, they don't play about me. And that's the thing that is like, yo, I can appreciate that. And it's really built me to who I am. Cause I know like at the end of the day, they got my back and I got there. So that's a big thing. Family's big for me, man. Yeah. Family's big.
Nah, I definitely feel that, especially with the 3 sisters. I'm the oldest of 5, but I have 3 sisters.
Oh yeah.
And so I think early on, like I was like, man, we're just siblings. But then like my mom, my dad, they were like, no, like you are the protector.
There it is.
So like you got to definitely be, you know, on top of that, you know. And then now, even as an adult, like I try to kind of, because they're adults too. So finding that balance. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I remember the one time my sister called me crying. First of all, she don't cry. So, you know, I thought that was I was going to jail. You know what I mean? But it, like you said, like being that close knit and just, I appreciate my parents for forcing that on us. Yeah. As a kid, you like, man. Yeah. But it, you know, it builds that unity together.
Yeah. And like you say, man, just learning how to navigate emotionally, you know, as a young boy, and with it's 2 sides to it, right? Emotionally, you know, you have the spaces of where trauma comes. You got to kind of be, you know, in spaces where you got to be that protector. You know what I mean? You got to stand up. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it teaches you. You know, so at a young age, I've learned like, yo, at the end of the day, I may have to be responsible for these ladies. So you know, so that build at a young age, you learn that it's like, you know, it kind of builds that mentality of like, yo, step up, you know, because at the end of the day, say Pop's not around or something like that. They coming to me like, you know, my sisters call for a lot of things. Hey, I may need this, dad not around. Hey, who's they gonna call? It's you. So it's like, yeah, that definitely that protective part is like big, man. Because at the end of the day, too, it's like, if something is to happen to my father, you know what I'm saying? I'm next in line, you know what I'm saying? So that's a big responsibility, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when you got all women. You know what I mean? It's like, especially when you got all women, it's like you gonna have to be in the forefront of like most of everything. You gonna have to, you know, make those tough decisions and be the stability. Right. You know what I mean? Be that even, that balance for them, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that I mean, that development, you got to develop all that, you know what I mean? Especially if you know, with women, you got to have that. And now you're going to clash all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that balance is where I'm coming into as the older brother, as an adult. Yeah. It's finding that balance between my sisters and my parents. They come to me like, can you believe my mom? Or your mom said this, or your dad said this. Then I'm like, well, hold on, okay, let's take a second now. Okay, why'd they say this though? Right? Okay, first of all, your emotions are fair. You're what's the saying?
You're valid for your
You're valid for how you go.
I'm about to use that. I'm about to use that. Okay.
Yeah, you're valid for how you feel. Now that we got that out of the way. Yeah. Okay, why is this being said? Is there any truth to it? How can you take this and really, you know what I mean? So definitely that balance. And then can you talk about your work ethic too?
Yeah, man, listen, been on the board, you know what I mean? It's like, I was outside, we joke about it now, man. I was outside cutting grass. You know, my pops, you know, he instilled that work ethic. I mean, I can count on my hand how many times I've been without a job, like straight up, like since I've been working. So that work has always been, and it's still as a young man, it's like my pops made sure, you do your chores. You cut that grass. You girls ain't doing it. You dump that trash. You make sure, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, from a young age, I had to, you know, if you ain't do it, you know what I'm saying? So, I think that was built at a young age, and I never, you know, it just grew as I grew. Like, I'm like, for me, it's like, I'm a menace sometimes when it comes to like, if I'm going to do something, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? This is my personality. If I'm into something, I get all in. Sometimes it could be just, you know, that can go back to that balance. There's a balance to it. You gotta have that balance. But yeah, that work ethic is just in me, man. It just built from a kid, bro. Yeah, no. You know, especially having to be outside. I can't go play ball till I cut the grass. Man, you don't think I'm playing? I'm doing this. Especially I'm doing this in the morning. It's summertime. I'm go ahead do this, knock this out. I'm going to play some ball. We're going to school and hoop. You know what I mean? So that's developed at a young age, and it just goes with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I resonate with that that work ethic, going all in as we're sitting on our podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
doing everything we can to really make this as big as possible, as like you said, doing it the right way. Like if we don't do it, like there's some times where we didn't drop an episode because I'm like, nah, it's not right. It's like, man, we didn't drop an episode today. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like I want, like, if it's not going to be done by this time and we have this set up, now granted, sometimes you just got to do it. But at the same time, it just kind of speaks to like, just want to have everything right, because if it's not right, then I don't want to do it.
Right. And then we speak both briefly off when we talk about that perfectionist type space, because I'm a perfectionist. I've struggled with that. I guess you could say. If it ain't all the way right, I'm gonna either not do it or procrastinate with it, and then things don't happen. So it's like, you gotta, that perfection, you gotta, again, life is just about the balance. You gotta have that balance of like, everything ain't gonna be right, but just, still gotta do it. And then sometimes you gotta be like, nah, I gotta be like just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on Kingdom Financial Consulting Group?
Yeah, man. So it's been a journey, yo, like for real. So 22, I've always had a business mind, man. I've been in finance all my life, banking and all that. So it's like business has always been a fabric of me, and then it's in my family. Like my sisters are entrepreneurs, they have shops, they beauticians. My dad, my dad, man, I tell him all the time, I was like, man, you should have your own space. But he's always had that entrepreneur mindset though. But it was birthed in 22, man. And at that time, I ain't know what, I'm just like, yo, I'm ready to do something for me. Where it's like, I know at the end of the day, like kind of you, right? I know I've been told all my life, like, you're a leader, I know, to the point where I'm like, man, I'm tired of hearing it, you know what I mean? But when you embrace, when you really understand, like, yo, you are a leader in spaces, you're going to get uncomfortable until you get into where you're supposed to be. Like I said, that alignment part, you're going to struggle trying to get to where you need to be. But that alignment of like, I just always felt like, man, I'm supposed to have my own, man. I'm supposed to do that. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was sitting at my table, just, trying to figure it out. I was working, I was just trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you, cause with my faith in God, it's like things just started happening. I really couldn't tell you like how it flourished to where it is right now, but when I activated faith, right? When I actually just said, you know what, let me just try it. I was still at the bank, going home, working nights, just trying to figure it out. And getting client, I picked up clientele, cause I'm good at, numbers is my thing, right? Numbers, I'm a numbers guy. I've been that, you're right. So just, incorporating that into how can you make money off of it? You build a clientele, you get the service, right? You give a service, and, figuring that part out. What can I provide? What's lacking? There's a lot of my main thing is there's a lot of our people who have businesses who really don't have it all together or even know, right? So they're in something and they don't know and they're like struggling. So it's like, for me, it's like, to understand it on a corporate level, like where I was at, and to be able to communicate that to you and be able to give you that service on a level, but you may not be, big, but you still need, a service. You still need, maybe you need help with your accounting or your finances or your bookkeeping and stuff like that. And so that's what I want to do. So that's where it pushed. And so 22 was a start. I was still working at the bank, and it got to the point where it was kind of shaky, at my job, and a lot of times I think probably because I waited to, I was just waiting for I had to, I say I gotta have this, I gotta have this. I can't go full time right here now. I got a whole life. I got kids, I can't do it. I don't know where the money gonna come from, but sometimes life will get uncomfortable, right? Until you just move. And so it got to the point where I was at my job and I was like, I gotta get out of here, so it ended, and in 24, I just started. I started just small, just picking up jobs here and there, and I was, be able to, do the thing. And when July, I think February of 24, fully left the bank, right? July of 24, I had my first like client, like where it was like a thing, you know what I'm saying? So it was like where I could just do it, and it was working. So And that was a blessing, man. I mean, it was just how it happened. I went through, just an agency, and it just to connect. And so, yeah, that's how it started. It just started with an idea, and Kingdom Financial, because it's like my faith. I want to be able to provide a service that is faith-based. We believe in, understanding that, listen, finances is biblical. A lot of it's biblical, like budgeting and understanding, count up the costs. Are you counting up the costs before you do it? Budgeting. Do you understand like what you're getting into before you get into it? And a lot of us, I don't think in business, you get the idea, right? I was telling you earlier, you get the idea, but do we actually sit down and like count up, like, how is this going to work? You know what I'm saying? So I think that part of like with me is like, connecting faith and finances, and really just getting us to understand like, yo, it's deeper than just, having the gift. Like, you got a gift or you do something good. I want you to know like the ins and outs. Cause if you're a leader, if you're at the top, you gotta know the things, right? You can't just be up here. I'm sure y'all don't just be up here and be like, yeah, we just talk. Now y'all dudes know like the ins and outs of your business. And that's the part that I want to communicate to the people that I get involved with, and show them like that just that security and knowing that, yo, I'm providing a service to the elite ability, So that's Kingdom Financial, man. It's a lot of things, but like I say, I really want to be able to show that, like, you can do like our people, like that's the space, like our people can do it in the space. Like I was telling my guy here, in finance, like accounting, there's not a lot of us and as men, a lot of black men in that space. And it's like, I think as men, we should definitely know, like, have a idea of like finance and generational wealth, and being able to set up our families, and knowing how to set up our families, and knowing, how to construct that, where our generation, our children's children are living on something that we created. That's where I want it. I want all of us to understand it. Because again, you think just because you got the knowledge of it, like y'all know podcasts, and you think, oh, well, everybody should just know. Nah, some people, they just don't know. And that, for me, what my kind of thing was, it's like, well, people should know, finance, you banking, all that, you should know, right? You should just know because you've been in that environment. But a lot of people don't know. Now I'm just taking the space of like, yo, I just want to teach and to get people to understand that space, so we can just scale together and grow. Yeah, man. So that's Kingdom, man.
Good. The biggest thing is that, like, common sense isn't so common. So you think that people know about different things, but just because you're in it, like, you might not know. You know what I mean? Right. But the two. I got three questions, but two questions. I hope I remember all of them. But the first thing I have is, do you primarily work with businesses, or do you work with individuals as well? Both.
I do both. The business side is more, be honestly, developed, because it's like, I've been in corporate finances, just business finances. So I have that, kind of experience and schooling for that, and personal, but I do both. But the business is my core, kind of like business finance, small. And like my thing is to do like with small business, mid-sized business that, you have your accounting departments, business that may not have that ability to afford your, those big, you can't, man, these guys, but I want to be able to provide that type of service that you would get top-notch service like the big guys, but at a price where it's like, yo, I can rock with that. And we work together it's not just, yo, you my client, we building a relationship, because as you grow and scale, we do it together. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of, closeness and type of vibe I'm bringing with that, man. It's like, I don't want to be like, it's scary though. We doing this together. You learning, we gonna learn together. Let's rock. Yeah. So one, we like to talk after this. Yeah, man. But two, I think the second question I have is, what's the biggest thing you see us as believers that what's one or three of the biggest things you see that we don't know, or that we fail to do? I think, honestly, I don't think it's talked about enough. Okay. Or I think a lot of our, again, just environments I'm in, we ain't talking about finances in no church. We ain't really get teaching on like how to budget. We wouldn't talk about budgeting in Bible study. We was talking about, you better do this, do that. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of that. It wasn't a lot of just information. I think we just need to connect, because again, the church is should be the community. Everything that the community needs should be from the church. As believers, we should be providing. I think as believers, we need to tap into that more.
Yeah.
Because I think we got a lot of entrepreneurs that are believers and stuff. So I think like that needs to be a space where we can just talk about it more. I think, not be afraid of money. It's like sometimes you get in church, start talking about that offering, people get like, man, they turn their heads up. Let's not be afraid. Let's talk about it. Let's, because again, at the end of the day, as believers, we're supposed to be leaving legacy. We're supposed to be leaving behind stuff for our generations. And that's a big part of that is finance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that we really need to put, a space on, like, as people, let's leave something for our generations, and a lot of it, finance. How people have that long money, that old money, so, and businesses that have been passed down. These big businesses, they didn't just start at big; they were passed down from generation to generation, man. And knowing how to protect it, and keep it, in perpetuity, where it's always with you, it's yours. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff too is the stuff that we need to learn too.
So as far as a 401k, I feel like we hear that often. Can you just break that down for people that might not really understand?
Usually doing with you're participating in a job setting. You put the money aside, and again, it's dependent upon how much you want to contribute at a certain time, and it's all again like. That's all what we talk about when we get into the spaces of like how do you want life to be, like what do you want to do in the next 5 years. So the 401k is like you set up and you is certain amounts of contributions at a certain time, how much a percent usually like 3%. Say if you want to contribute like 3% of your income to that, you do that. That's usually the base, but it's just setting money aside that earns it. It gets put into different either equities or the stock market, and you put it in there and it grows over time. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest, right? So at one point in time, I was supposed to have a Roth IRA, right? But I think I got cold feet, like I was kind of scared. So what would you say to people, our community, mainly that is scared about taking money now and leaving it for later? Because I mean, now I know that that's the better option, but it may be hard to do, right?
Yeah.
Leaving something later. You know what I mean? What would be your biggest advice as far as that?
I mean, I think it's the now. Like I gotta live for now, my guy. You got time to worry about 20 years. I don't know what's gonna happen 20 years. You feel me? I think that's the biggest thing. Is like I need to benefit now. I think just we get the mindset like, listen, we gotta develop out of that mindset, right? Because that's just by nature, it's like, I gotta survive now. But it's like at the end of the day, that's true. And a lot of us, I think we don't have the opportunity, right? Because it's like, we just surviving, right?
Yeah.
We just I'm trying to survive. Right. But it's like, once we get past that, we can get past that type of mindset. It's a mindset, bro. Like money is mindset. It's all about how you think. Yeah. And you gotta, it gotta be mature past, the trauma. Because sometimes people may just be living in survival mode where it's like, I gotta live for the now. Yeah. That's their mindset. So it's just like having that conversation with and understand that person, like, hey, maybe that's where we start. Maybe it ain't about you, maybe we start with, hey, how do we change that mindset? Get you out of just, the moment, right? And get you to thinking about, hey, where are you going to be in 5 years, man? Yeah. How do you want to be living in 10 years? How many kids do you want? Do you want your kids to go to college? Those types of questions that make you think, all right, well, if you want to do this, this, and this, you're going to have money for the future, right? You're going to have that some type of support for however you want, the future to be. Yeah. So I think that mindset, bro, is the mindset. Yeah.
It's funny how these things line up. I was just having a conversation about finances with my my sisters and my little cousins about just, the thing I was teaching them about is just having a strategic spending plan, which is just a fancy word for a budget, but having a strategic spending plan, like I lay it out, like I know exactly what is being paid for out of each of my checks.
There you go.
Okay, so then I know where every dollar is going. Okay, now that I know where every dollar is going, let me start paying off some of this debt. Okay, let me start building my credit, right? Getting different credit cards and everything. And just knowing, you know what I mean? I think just speaking on what you were talking about of getting into that mindset of what are you really trying to accomplish? Right. Are you trying to have a car? Do you want to leave your kid a car? Right. Do you want to leave your kid a trust? Right. Do you want to have all these different things? Well, first of all, people might not even know what a trust is, right? Or how that even works, or what that really impacts. Like you said, we do live for the now. Like Fortunately, 2 years ago, I had 2 full-time jobs. So I had the most money I've ever made to this point. And it really got to the point where I was like, oh, okay. One, I really get how this works. But then 2, how do I really get to the point where I can double this, triple this, right? 10 times, you know what I mean? How can we live like the people that we want to live, but then also leave a legacy for the people that we are, you know, putting into? I have a little brother. I'm going to have kids eventually, nieces and nephews, you know what I mean? Especially for our community, because the only people in our community that we see there like that are athletes, you know what I mean? Athletes aren't entertainers. But then the average NFL player, and within 3 years, they're broke. So, you know, I mean, just having that knowledge.
Yeah, that mindset ain't changed. I mean, because again, at the end of the day, you can have all the money you want. If your mind is still just, you know, not developed, you know, you just, it'd be gone. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing is just getting us to understand that mindset part of it, yo. Like, because it's like, all right, I got this money. What am I do with it? You know what I'm saying? It's like that part of like, I got it. Now what? You know? But it's like, there's questions and things that you just, what do you, like you said, what do you want to do? Like, what's the goal here? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's the goal?
So I feel like you talked about it a little bit, but what are the 3 biggest things the Black community needs to know about finances?
The Black community, man, we just, I think we just, I'm going to say, I think I don't want to say a fear of money, but it's like, it's just sometimes it's like we get money, we just like, it's something, you gotta spend it, or either, make sure if I got money, I'm gonna let them see it. You know what I mean? I think that part of just like understanding, like, it's a tool. It's just a tool. You know, if I don't have it, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get it, understanding, like, changing the mindset of like, yo, what is this? And what am I using it for? It's a tool to anything, you know, it's a tool to a lot. Freedom is a tool to, you know, generational spaces where you know, you could set your life up for good. So it's like getting us to have a better relationship with it. Yeah. I think because of me personally, I had a bad relationship with money, you know, because, you know, your surroundings, you know, you check to check. we are surviving, my guy. You know, you have your relationship with it is just like, yo, I spend it, I gotta run it, or I gotta try to hold it as long as I can because I don't know when it's coming again. You know, and getting us, you know, past that, I guess, traumatic part of it, and getting a better relationship with money is a big one. And then getting us connected. I think, and we're not as connected community wise, man, as far as like resource. You know, I think we need to build resources for our people. You know, I mean, there's so much need. It's like we gotta build, figure out how to get our people resources. You know, so we can start to learn and understand and to build. Yo, I think resources is a big thing. Coming together, a unity part. You know, and that is big in finance. Is like that's one of the things. Like coming together, understand like we need real resources in our communities because they just don't know. The education. 3, education, man. That's if I ain't gonna say nothing, education, man. Educating our people about the importance of this space. You know what I'm saying? And how it can be really beneficial if we really lock in to understand it, you know, and learn it, you know, and not just, you know, just do whatever, you know, whatever we do. But just education with that. Resource education. And just changing the mindset of it, man. Having a better relationship.
I think that relationship and education is big. Like you said, the relationship of money. Like I think until I'm 26, until I was 23, I did not really understand what to do with money. Right. Get it, spend it. Right. Oh, my mom didn't buy me these shoes when I was 16. I'm ready to go get these shoes. I want the newest phone every year. And then when I was 23, I was like, oh no, like really making your money work for you. Right. And really understanding, like you said, like money, people think money is everything. Money is, which, you know, they think money is happiness. They think money is success. They think money is, but it's like you said, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's just a tool to get things. You know, it's like a barter system. It's trade, right? At one point, money was salt. Money was rice. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Money wasn't even paper until like the 1500s. Right. It used to be coins or gold. So now it's just really understanding what is it and how do you do it. You know, like and then like you said, the education part. Like I was trying to teach my little brother, like, what are the 3 ways that you can make money, right? I'd forgot now, but like it's 3 different ways you can make money. Right. But if I could think of it, like it's you're either an employee, you either own a business, or it's probably passive. It's something. It's like 3 different ways that you can make money. Okay, and then understanding how to obtain it, and then once you obtain it, what do you do from there? Make it work for you. There you go. You know. You hear business owners talk about that all the time about each dollar needs to be working for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not about having a liquid. It's about having all these different assets and different things. Like I was just seeing, who was it? I think the guy, he just sold, I can't remember what business it was, but every time I see a basketball team being sold or a business or something, they're not giving that man $1 billion. They're giving him $1 billion worth of assets. Or you can have this building, you can have this team, you can have this, that, and the fourth. Really understanding how this thing works. It's not about having this stack that you see this guy have, because that means nothing, right? And then also understanding credit, right? Like a 800 credit score is better than having $1 million,
right?
You know what I mean? And people probably don't believe that, but it
credit's big.
Have a 400 credit score with $1 million or 800 credit score with no money. Which one is better? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, and understanding that part. Again, that's less. It was good. He said,
like, God damn, I can work on my credit.
No, I mean, again, you know how we, a lot of that's our people. We grow bad credit. That's how, that's just a common thing, But when you think and when you really research and look at it, man, a lot of the wealthy, man, they live on credit. They live off their credit card. They, like, their whole lives is, I pay everything on my credit card because and all my assets are set up where it's working. I live off the credit card, paid off my, and then here it is. Not when I use my credit card, and use it for everything. If I have a credit card that's giving me points, guess what? I'm getting rewards. I'm getting cash back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using it to do what I got to do, but I'm also getting rewarded in the back. So again, it's the mindset of understanding, like, how are you making this work for you, my guy? How is it all working? You know what I mean? Because it can get you in trouble, but it's very beneficial. Yeah. Credit is very beneficial in this world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because again, if you look at it, a lot of when you level up, it's like you got to live different. You know what I mean? And I think credit, living in that space, is like there's a way it can benefit you in a space where it's like, you know what I mean? But you got to be smart about it, because man, you had cards, you know what I'm saying? You bags of mugs, you do all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? But that mind, it gotta be smart with it. Again, changing the mind, right? Yeah. Changing their mindset with it, because just because you got it, just go, you know what I mean? Yeah. Make sure you within reason, and you're doing it the right way, and it's making you, make you better.
I say, like, the two things I think about is, like, one is a saying, it's like, so would you rather spend your money or somebody else's money?
There it is.
So then you spending somebody else's money, you keeping your money, and then that goes into the next thing. We'll say, like, Bill Gates, like all them billionaires, they got a black card. They got a black card. It's a credit card. No limit. Just spend.
Just go.
And they spending this black card, and they don't, and all their money is over here.
Yeah.
So, like, and that's how they able to stay wealthy.
Cause my cash is doing other things. It's working. Right, yeah, you should hit it. It's like, make that money work for you. That your money should not just be sitting. You know what I mean? Just sitting, and it should be somehow making more money. That's the key and at the end of the day, that's the key to the game. Make money, make that money, make money. While you making more money, make that money, make money. You know what I'm saying? And keep, while you sleep, your money should be making money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the mindset again. And when you understand that and be able to develop a plan with that, like with that mindset, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could benefit you, man.
Okay. So I got a quick question.
What's up, man?
So I'm not the best with credit, right? Because I know I got a lot to learn. I wish someone taught me about credit for real. Yeah. Because when I got my first credit card, I'll tell you.
Hey, man, I feel
tell you.
Yeah, me too. I look, dumbest guy I know, like, first one, yeah, for sure.
But, like, okay, so these guys, they're swiping their credit card, right?
Right.
You got to pay the credit card off. So aren't they still using their money?
You front me the money, basically. Like, it's like about how liquid are you? I swipe that. I ain't gotta pay it back though. You get 30 days, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'd rather, you front me the money. Again, what about the benefit? If you got a card that's benefiting you, if every time you spend your money, you swipe that card, you're earning cash back, is you making money while you spend money. Yeah. On my debit card, if I swipe that mug, I ain't getting no money. Not to 10, you ain't getting no debit card where you getting cash back every time you spend that mug. 3% on, if you go to, some of these cards, they got 3% on gas, groceries. So if you go shopping, you making money. So the benefit of it is like, yeah, I have to pay it back for sure. But, but I kind of front me on it. I get 30 days pay it back, and I'm getting a benefit with it.
So it's more about the benefit than actually trapping off of the credit card. Like, it's more about the benefits you can receive. So like the cash back or, some credit cards have the airline flights and all that other stuff. So like, so it's more about the benefits you receive than actually working on the credit.
No, I mean, yeah. And as you use the card, you make sure you make your payments on time. Hold on, let me, make your payments, my guy. Make them payments, because it's like when you make your payments, you're on time. Because these are things that go into credit score. You on time payments. How many times you on time? Do you on time? That builds it. It builds your credit. So how you're building credit is that I'm using it, I'm utilizing it, but I'm also doing the things I'm supposed to do. Where it's like pay the bill. Make sure you're not just spending and you ain't gonna be able to pay it back. Being conscious. Again, the mindset. I ain't out here just spending and just I know I ain't gonna have the money. Once you pay your bill on time, make sure you stay up to date with all of it. That's how your credit score goes up. And the longer that you have that credit line, the longer that the credit line is alive, the higher your credit score is too. So the longer you have it and it's in good standing, you do the least amount of times you've been late. You know what I'm saying? That all factors into your credit score. So if you're using it and then you're doing the right things, it's only going to drive it up.
So how important is it to stay within the utilization limit and all that good stuff?
Real big, man. I mean, again, it's like budgeting, knowing what you can handle, knowing what you can handle, and that's all in budget. There's another way of saying, but how much can you handle in this? If don't go to the point where you usually, and again, like I say, I know emergencies happen, all that. You go on these things, but it's like I think it's making sure you keep that consciousness of don't go. You don't want to get too far to that credit limit, because again, you might if you max out, they charge fees for that, over the limit fee. So you want to kind of make sure, hey, I'm utilizing it to what I can, and I'm paying it, and down. But again, it's individual. You gotta make sure you understand what you can handle. And I think you don't want to get too far. If you got $1,000 credit limit, go to $999, try to let you can pay it back, because again, the longer you keep that balance, it's earning 30% interest on it. So on top of not only you paying back principal, you got to pay back that interest. So facts. The game is, I want to utilize it, but be, to the point where I can just pay it off, so I ain't paying that interest. I'm just paying what I use. And that's how most people on that next level, they live I know I can pay this off. I ain't paying no interest on this. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, that's how you finessing the game. You make sure you pay. If you pay it off every month, you ain't got no balance. You straight. Yeah. Because again, it's that 25 to 30% interest to catch up on you, and every month you keep that balance. That interest is on that balance, so it'll build up after a while. Especially, So yeah. Definitely try to, stay within your limits. Is all I'm saying.
So what are the 3 biggest mistakes people make in our community when dealing with finances?
Knowing your limit. don't, cause it's all right, people, it's you gotta look to, if you want people to think you got, what you got, is no, just knowing your limits, living within your means. I'm trying to impress people, but living within your means financially. Yeah. And understanding that I ain't trying to press nobody. I'm living within my means, but and maybe I'm living low key at this point in my life, and I ain't out buying the Jordans. I ain't out, when they drop. I'm not doing that because I gotta, maybe that's not in my budget right now. Know your limit, man, and being okay with it. Man, I'm cool. You want Jordan? Nah, bro, I ain't got it right now. You wanna go out to eat, man? Let me see next month how it's looking. Just being honest about that space. And again, for me, this the development part. It's trying to live outside your means is the biggest part for our community. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to look the part. I got Gucci bells, all that real. But that's nice. But is it within your means? A lot of people be fronting. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But being 100 about that, I think that's the biggest part. Is living within your means, understanding it. If you don't understand what that is, then you won't. You'll always be. And just again, the biggest mistakes I think is just And I'll say this, I think in our homes, talk about it more to our children.
Yeah.
That's what for me is like, talk about it more to our kids, at an early age,
Yeah.
Which, I used to see my dad write checks and stuff, back in the day, but it's like, he never said that. I'm like, here, how you write it, what I'm saying? I don't think, so it's like, I think, at a younger age, just making sure we tap in with our children at home, in the Black home, in our community,
sure.
making sure we get that, so they know what a check is at, or a bank account, savings at, an early age.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like I was saying, like I talked to my my siblings and my little cousins about that, about what that looks like. And like you said, like the education is very pivotal, because I was only started, like I took a finance class in 11th grade. Okay. And then my cousin and my dad and everything, like my mom, they all talked to me about that as an adult, which it's never too late. But imagine have that 11th grade information in elementary school.
Right.
Because guess who does have it?
Yep.
The other Hugh has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
for real. Try to hold it. But that's the big thing, bro. Is that having that knowledge at a younger age is a game changer, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the big thing.
Because no, go ahead.
I feel like having that knowledge at a young age is very important. But I also feel like, when they grow into adults, how they'll put them on their kids on their credit line.
Yep.
So by the time that
there it
you
is.
feel me, they already set low key.
They already set.
So it's like we didn't get that. You know what I mean? Our people don't really, and I feel like it's because of the education.
Right.
Like a lot of them don't know how to do that. A lot of them are scared of credit. It's like I don't want to get myself into that more debt and all that. But I feel like it's the setup. You know what I mean? Like just how a lot of them are set up to already succeed in that area.
And that's the thing. A lot of in our community, we don't have it. You know what I mean? It's not a space for us to, because, some people, the parents don't grow up with credit. They ain't got no credit cards and put them on. You know what I mean? We live paycheck to paycheck. Credit card, what? You a what? Nah, man. Yeah. We just try to make it. So it's like, again, the opportunities, not there. But again, it's like, if it is, it's definitely, that's why we need in our community the resource, that the understanding, like, let's give resources to education, because it may not be available. It may not be available in the household. You feel what I'm saying? So
especially because a lot of our parents don't have that knowledge. They didn't have that knowledge. Like you said, they just had the knowledge of what they had. So we can't be mad at them for that. But now that we have the knowledge, like you said, like putting together classes or workshops or really understanding like what does this mean? Now that we have that knowledge, I'm pretty sure it says it in the Bible, like having knowledge and not using it is a sin. So
absolutely.
We're like really giving that back to these because it's going to be pivotal. Yeah, right. Man. To our not just our nieces and nephews or kids, like everybody in our community. Yeah, man. So that we can all go together, right?
It's crazy because, again, I just got my kids kind of trying to get them involved with my business, right? And that's a thing within itself. But it's like, for me, again, this all incorporates in my business. These are the legs that I'm trying to build. Like, I want a space where I had that financial literacy for kids. I want a space where I have, for family. I want all that generational wealth talk with that leg, so it's all, I mean, that's all incorporated. So again, if you want it, you gotta start it. So I'm like, it's been big for me. It's like, how do I get my kids? But I can't go out and tell other people, talk to your kids about it. My kids is like, and so I've started that space of like, giving y'all want to work for me? They like, yeah. So bringing them in and getting them to understand, hey, so when I brought them in, hey, you fill out this application, fill it out, fill out this form, I want to know, fill out your bank account number, where you want your direct deposit to go. This is how much you get paid, all that kind of stuff. Give them that experience, because they're gonna go out in the world and experience it. So it's like having that environment where you teach them, if you have the ability to, do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the big part, just doing it.
Before we move on to that, do you think people in the Black community should look for bank accounts that pay interest?
Yeah. It's in simple form. Yeah, man. Again, it pays you interest. It's free money.
Right.
You got a savings account, you making, I mean, and it's the space of like understanding, like, what interest rates and interest rates and what's high, what's low, what's a high interest rate, what I mean? What's a low interest, what is an interest rate? You know what I mean? Again, it's just, you sit your money here. It's secure. It's safe. As long as they 250K, you safe, and we'll give you money. Because at the end of the day, what the bank gonna do I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna go lend it out, and I'm gonna make my interest on it. You said your money here, and the more, that's why it's like when you get into deposits, like you put your money here, we'll give you a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go take that money and I'm gonna make this on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the game. It's like, I think, yeah, definitely look at a bank that gets interest, because it's like, it's free money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a way to get you to understand like how to start, you know, saving and looking for that space. Yeah, definitely, definitely on savings and checkings account. Definitely interest is good. Yeah, for sure.
So like, when it comes to finance, right? I know we talked a lot about it so far, but like, if you were to give advice like right now, and it's like, what's the best way to get your finance on track, but also like not set yourself up for failure?
Yeah.
Trying to, you know what I mean? Because you can't save too much, because like for instance, the CD account, you put your money in a CD account, it's going to make some money over time, but if an accident happened, I put all my money in there. If I need to take it out now, they're charging me to take my own money out. Right. You know what I mean? So what would you say is the best way?
Again, it's talking to somebody who's going to sit down, and this is what my space is like. Yo, let's understand you. Like, what's your space? You ain't nobody else. Don't look at this person how they do it, because again, it's individual to you. I think it's just understanding your space and just working it at your capacity. If you don't make that much money, all right, well, let's see what you can save. Like, if all you like, I don't make enough, all my money going here. All right, well, let's see what spaces where maybe you can, an expense that may not be, vital to your life that we can kind of cut out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think the biggest thing, that the advice I would give is just work on your level, right? I know you see all this like, oh, I got to, invest in here, invest in there. No, start small. Start with a savings account. I always say, just start small and work on your level. And as you scale, then you make sure you do it. Your finances scale with you. You know what I'm saying? So just start on your level. Don't try to don't go outside that limit. Just make sure you understand. And that's just understanding you. Like, how much are you spending going out, eating out? How much is that being wasted? How much are you spending on going out to going to the bar, do the club? How much is there? Do you have a budget for your entertainment? Do you have a budget for your food? Is there a way? Do you know how much because here's the thing, the simple thing is, a lot of people don't even know how much they spend. How much you spending in subscriptions that you probably not even using, right? It's, again, understanding just on a small scale, like what is this? And understand how to look at your finances in a grand scale, saying, yo, all right, because again, all accounting is looking at a business. I could look at a business, financials, income statement, and there's no, hey, looking at your expenses. Maybe we could. This is probably why your net income wasn't as big as it was before. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you holding on to enough? Why at the end of when you get your paycheck and then you pay everything? Why is it so not enough? Why you can't live on what you making, my guy? So it's just understanding you, and really just linking with somebody that can give you that understanding on that level. Like, it's just understanding you, what you doing. Are you being, responsible and being a good steward of your money? Or you just are just understand it, right? Just lock into it. And I think a lot of people say, wait, because it's like money is a very touchy subject. You know what I mean? Don't mess with people's money. It's like, and sometimes people don't even want to look. It's all jacked up. I don't know. Sometimes they get discouraged, man. I'm out. I don't even want to look at it. I don't know how much God just knows overdrawn. So we'll figure it out when that check hit again. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people don't want to look at it, but it's just like, just do it on your scale and just, it's tough, but just know if you get a plan and stick to it, and money is all, and it's all about discipline. Got to be disciplined, and budgeting and keeping that space is discipline.
This is more of a business question, because this is a conversation we've been having recently. Is like, how, as a business, can we trust somebody with our finances? Like an accountant, like I'm be honest. Like I said, like I don't know if I do have an accountant, I'm gonna have somebody watching my account. Yeah, like I mean that's So like, how do you build that trust with somebody with your money, especially as a small business? It might be easier, but as you grow, as you scale, you know what I mean. You paying somebody $50,000, but you got $200,000 in the bank. It's like, well, hold on now.
Yeah. The question is, how can you trust?
Yeah, how do you build that trust to have an accountant as a small business?
I think it's the accountant's job to make sure that they are giving you real information. Like, just, give me real information and just I think it's that relationship of like, I want you to win, man. I want you to, and when you show that through how you present information, like, hey, yo, if it's game I can give you, I'm gonna give you the game. You think if somebody like, hey, yo, this is how you do this. If I'm giving you game, that's building that trust, right? That's building that, like, yo, this guy really, like, he really want us to, succeed. And I think, I got a lot of people get leery around that space because, you do have some shady people, what I mean? And, but I think as a business is vital. It's a vital space. I know it's like, how do you trust your accountant? It's a space you got to work with, but it's vital. So you need it. So it's just, connecting with the one. And then here's the thing, for businesses, right? For business owners, you got to know the business, right? Know it. And a lot of times that's financial. You got to know the financial spaces of it. You should know what a, income statement is. Any business owner should know what a balance sheet is. So when your guy come talking like, oh yeah, this is and this, you can kind of say, wait, hold on, that don't sound right. You know what I mean? And then, like you say, if you got, have checks and balances. You know what I mean? Get somebody that hey, I want to audit this. That's a space. Make sure you there's a way in a business manner that you can check your accountant. Let me check you. Let me get this, audited and see if these, let me get another eye. See if anything's, going awry. You know what I'm saying? Any money going out, so yeah, definitely, just, it's a daunting thing, but just know, like, there are people out there that really are about, making sure that the business owner and their client is succeeding. Because when they succeed, we succeed and we grow together. So that's my motto. It's like, yo, when you succeed, I succeed. We build together. You scaling, it benefits. It's a benefit. I'm giving you game. I want you to grow. If you my client, I want you to grow. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't I? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just connected with that, and then having that check and balance in the back. Like, if you really like, yeah, I'm unsure. Yeah, let's just let's make sure we got our checks and balances in order. Yeah.
You got a business card on you?
Yeah, yeah. I got. We gonna link. We gonna link.
What's the best way to utilize a bank?
The biggest thing with the banks is again, you got money that again you can earn interest. It's secure. A lot of banks, the security is it's federally insured. You know what I mean? Your money's safe. If something go down the bank, get jacked. Because I hear a lot of people like, I don't want to put it in bank because, I like keep mine under my mattress. I want to make sure, because I don't trust the bank. Man, at the end of the day, if that bank go down or something, your money's insured, up to 250. So it's like, I think this,
what you mean up to 250?
So up to 250,000, if you keep up to $250,000 in one account, if anything over that is not insured. So if you have $250,000 in your checking account right now, it's insured. It's per account, right? So if you keep if anything over that is in that
what you're saying to me is if I have 260
that one account, yeah. So that's why again the strategy of all right, if I got. Let me move, moving it, making them. It's all a strategy. Finance is a strategy, yo. It's like chess. Yeah, if you got them, no, we're not sitting here, bro. Let's go put it over here. And guess what? That can go make you some money. Take that 10 off, go make you some money. Put it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just utilize, not being afraid to, utilize it and just get making sure you research because you want there's you want to be in a space where you can get benefits with it. Utilizing the space. If you say, hey, open up an account, you get a credit card. Yeah, make sure you understand and get involved in and ask the questions. When you go there, just ask questions. You know, go in your bank, sit down, and you can go in there and just say, hey, I just want to talk about some things. You know, what is, you know, what kind of counsel y'all provide that can earn me, you know, what kind of interest rate, you know, that it can carry me a high, what I have to do to get in a high earning interest account. You know, because sometimes stipulations you got to have this, you know, to certain amount, 5,000 whatever in there to earn this certain amount of interest. You feel what I'm saying? So like just understanding that that's the thing, and then, you know, going in and asking those questions. So I think just really going in, I think like it's taboo, like going to no bank or I ain't asking no questions, just put my money in there, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Really just doing your research, I think, on these banks, and getting into, you know, savings accounts, CDs, you know, and you know, understanding, you know, don't just sit your money just cause, you know, just cause it's, you know, just cause, it's making sure you understand why I'm putting it here. Does this make sense? Making sense of it.
Do you think it's important to have a national bank rather than a local bank, or just having a bank in general is okay?
Having a bank in general, and it depends on the benefits, because, you know, a lot of your locals are not going to have that, you know, national, you know, benefit, like, you know what I mean? But I think local is important because, again, maybe you want brick and mortar. Maybe you want to go sit down. Like a national bank, you won't be made, depending on what you know, good. A lot of us, we online, you know, I don't go on a bank like that, but I go online and do it. And a lot of the national banks, that's a big thing. It's like more convenient. What do you want? You know what I'm saying? So I think both are beneficial. I worked at a community bank, a small bank. And, you know, you understand these, a lot of people, they like that hometown or, you know, where I can go in. I want to go deposit my check. I want to do it on my phone. You know, it's just the benefit, and it's just what you prefer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm still on this 250,000. So because I just made a bank account with PNC, and they ain't tell me nothing about no, you feel me, it's guaranteed up until 250.
Yeah, and again, it's written on the, when you go up to that, you see it's fairly assured. You got, you know, that's what I'm saying. You got to kind of, you know, but I mean, yes, that's the thing. You know?
Nah, I mean, my thing is now knowing that it's like, okay, so once it goes past 250, you know, because I'm manifesting, I'm gonna get to there, you know.
Yeah, man, I like that.
And so once it gets past 250, I'm just gonna remove the remainder, and whether I open a new account or use that to,
Again, it's like education. This is this type of spaces, like as brothers, you know, coming together. You know, it's just having a conversation, because it's like, again, you know, you don't know who don't know, right?
Speaking of knowing or not knowing, what's the difference between a bank and a credit union?
Basically, credit union is like a nonprofit. You know, it's really like they're like a nonprofit, and they have where they don't call them, what is it? They don't call them customers, is members. You'll get a membership, you know. So it's and they usually have the difference. That's pretty much the difference. Is they're not for profit, basically. And a regular bank is for profit, and they have membership, and then they provide, you know, they may be able to provide a little bit more of a better rate on your, you know, loans or, you know, interest rates and stuff like that. So the credit union is a little bit more like where you get that membership, and it's a little bit, you know, better, you know, as far as like what they provide as far as products and their rates and stuff, because of how their financials is and how they, you know, they don't have to pay taxes and stuff. That was a big thing when I was working in the corporate at the bank. It was like one of the things the CFO, we talk about, like those guys, they making all this money, they gotta pay taxes. It's a tax thing. It's all.
So, what advice would you give to young black men about their finances?
Advice, man. I for us black men is understand that the finance is important, and for one reason, for us black men, generational wealth.
That's it right there.
Generation. I think as being a black man, I think that's the part that really lacks in our community, is pass it down, you know, you know, living off your families, you know, what they built, you know, and that's really what it's about, building something that your community can tap into and benefit from for generations and generations. And as a black man, that's what I strive for all of us to do, because again, at the end of the day, the others they got it, you know, I mean, a lot of them are, they born into things, you know, they born into, you know, money, because Pop had a business, and he passed it down to his son, or his son may pass it down to his nephew, you know, but at the end of the day, it was in the family. They kept it in the family. And I think it starts with our men. But I mean, we got to understand it, tap into it and not be, afraid of it. A lot of people, like, I don't understand. A lot of my homies, I don't understand him. Unless my ass do it. I get it, you know what I mean? But at least try to get some, even if it's not your thing, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not something you're good at or whatever, just try to tap into it, because at the end of the day, if you're a father, you got a son, and you got a son or even a daughter, like your responsibility and stewardship is to get them to understand this world of finance, because money runs the world, bro. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's a big part. Like, understanding how can I build generational, so that my generations and my kids and their kids don't have to struggle like I did, or not have an understanding like I did. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like, that's always been my like goal, generational wealth. Like, I still like, I daydream about it, just being in the position, but like, I also like trying to chase it. I feel like it's hard to do it like on your own. You know what I mean? Even when you build that business and you pass it down, like, it take time. You know what I mean? But I also feel like the other folks, it's because, the community, they do have more resources where, things that may have been able to help us and be easier, we got to grind harder just to get to that point. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like as Black people, we also don't we stick together, but when it comes to money though, we really don't. I ain't gonna lie. So I feel like not having that, like the knowledge and passing it down in the community and stuff like that, I feel like I know I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be wealthy.
Talk.
But I also know it's because of the people I have around me. My brotherhood that I have. This ugly ass nigga right here. You know what I mean? But having each other's back. You know what I mean? I feel like as Black people, we tend to be in that survival mode where we don't feel like no one have our back and we don't utilize our resources. So I guess the last financial question I would ask you, and I know it's different for every person, but someone striving for generational wealth, like what sort of steps do you think they should take?
You hit it, man. Surround your surroundings. Surround yourself with people that talk like you had a like-minded, and put yourself in spaces where find us. Here it is. Find someone that's where you want to go, and then people that have the same space mindset as you, where you want to go as far as in that space, and have the and can share the same image. Because you get around people that ain't talking about I'm ready to build is going to affect you. So I would say your surroundings, get you some literacy, read, get you some books. If you ain't got a group you connect with, someone you connect with, get some literacy books, or find a podcast, or find someone who or some type of YouTube space where you can but the biggest thing is get a community. Find people that you can connect with that's on the same wavelength as you, in that space. Because me, it's like some of my friends that's all. Sometimes all we talk like business, I want to do this. I'm trying to do this. We talk about generational. How can we do this? How can we refine this space? Or and you'll realize that you get sharpened. Especially if you got people that's like-minded, you get sharpened and put yourself in an uncomfortable space where you're in rooms with people that maybe know more than you. You know what I'm saying? And go to a seminar. You know what I mean? Sign up for that webinar. You know what I'm saying? Do stuff like that. So you see a webinar, sign up for that mug. You may not know what the heck they talk, but just get in the room. You know what I mean? Because the big thing for me, and what was crazy with where I'm at in business is this making myself jumping out there, right? And then and finding out that I've been in rooms where it's around people that is I aspire to be there. You know what I mean? And if you get in the space, you'll start to get in rooms like that. So it's just get your surroundings, because that'll help change that. You start talking different. You know what I'm saying? It'll start changing how you look at things, your perspective. So definitely get your surroundings, and just make sure you tapping into things.
I think that's really important. One of the biggest podcasts I watch right now is Diary of a CEO.
Oh,
and
okay.
That, just like you said, just getting into that mindset of one, being a CEO, but then also it's not just CEOs, it's just like-minded people,
Absolutely.
From different backgrounds and everything, of just talking the way like you said, being where you want to go. So then it's like watching that podcast. And then I know multiple people that I have a family member that owns a business.
There you go.
Speaking with him and his business partner about what do they do? How do you do this? Or you did this little thing. You know what I mean? I think it's just really important to, not just finances, just in life, surrounding yourself around people that are like-minded, whether it be faith or in your business or in your personal. Yep. You know, having somebody in front of you or where you're trying to go, but to have somebody a step behind you to bring them to where you are, you know, like it just, all of that is just so pivotal.
Absolutely, man. For sure.
So, how pivotal was it for you to gain protecting this and leadership instincts, you know, having all sisters and then now, you know, as a father?
It was vital, man. Again, just growing up with all women, like, again, naturally, you know what I mean? And you know, some spaces in childhood, you know, I had to be that protector, you know? But it's pivotal now. Again, it's like, so fast forward, you know, when I had my first child, I have a girl. So it's like, you know, now I've already been around women, but it's like, just that point of just like understanding like the same type of things that I, you know, learned and developed through childhood. It was pivotal for me, even becoming a father, you know what I'm saying, and becoming a business owner, learning how to, learning how. I think for me, like what I would say, biggest thing I learned with them is having that calm. You know what I mean? You know, learning how to just have that calm, and that's, you know, in leadership and all that, you have to have that even keelness in your emotions. You can't be no CEO and you emotional, you snapping off, and you irrational, and you not learning how to, you know, you're not emotionally intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was big, and that protectiveness was more the space than, you know, and I didn't know then that I would need it, that it would benefit me now. You know, I was just, you know, it was life. But I think it was pivotal in me understanding how to control my emotions, you know, and being able to be under pressure, and, you know, and not, you know what I mean? You know, so this that control part of the emotion.
Listening to you speak, like, you know, something that me and him been talking about all year is that, you know, I don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. And so, you know, just listening to you, you know, you having all sisters, and then me having, I got a little brother now, but mostly my life having all sisters, like it was meant for me to be a leader based on that circumstance, you know, having all sisters, right? And then that going into being the captain of the football team, and then going to be the supervisor at a job after 30 days, and then going into being, you know, the CEO of a small business, which would be a Fortune 500 company, Decree and Declare. But like all of those things work out for how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like you said, you having all sisters, that goes into your everyday life of how you are. And then just speaking on, let's talk about dealing with women for a second.
I ain't want to get too it. Let's do it.
You have to be calm.
Oh yeah, man.
Like you, especially as a black man, you cannot be dealing with black women trying to you have to be calm, cool, and collected. You
got to have a sense of rationale, bro. You got, because women, and then, you know, sometimes they get, what I've learned is like, yo, gotta be rational, yo. Because I'll be telling you, yo, just calm down. My biggest thing is like, yo, let's breathe, right? Just calm down. And now let's just look at it. You know what I mean? Let's just take a breather, just get perspective of what's happening.
Right.
We you know, you all, and then it's like, let's just calm down. So dealing with that it at a young age, it teaches you like, let me be easy. If everybody else is out, let me just be the calm, you know. But for me, I had to be the calm, you know, for them, because life was chaotic at points, you know, in spaces. So it's like they needed that stability, but it's like, you know, you have to have it, like you say, bro. It's hard, but you you gotta have it. And I think that's the emotional intelligence of knowing when to you know, say something, know when not to say something, know when to you know be harsh, when to be, you know, soft, and, you know, that's a lot, right?
And I think that's something I'm finding, not just with my sisters, but let's back up for a second. Did you find that hard being in a house full of women, how to deal with emotions? Because I can speak for me. I feel like it was hard growing up dealing with my emotions because I'm around women who are so emotional. And as a man, you're not supposed to be so emotional.
Yeah.
But when you're around emotions all day,
yeah,
you know, it's like, why are you being like that? Like, you're a boy.
Right.
Well, I'm around women all day.
Yeah.
Did you find that hard, or do you feel like you kind of already knew from the jump that you need to control your emotions?
I think because, again, how I had in the environment that I had to control it and make sure that I was like the protector, it you know, and try to, you know, growing up at home, it wasn't always good sometimes. You feel me? So it's like, I think that development of like the calm was just, I had to.
Right.
Right. And I think, for me, it wasn't, it was more so just like, my mindset was more so just like making sure they, you know, I'm good for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that was it. But I don't, the question was, dude, was it hard?
Yeah.
Was it hard? I think it was more, because for me, man, with my sisters is like, I would, you know, they were there, but I would just, you know, I'm type of like not a loner, but it's like, for me, it's like, hey, sometimes I'll just get away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my game room playing a game, video game or whatever, but it just, for me, I think I knew how to navigate through the spaces, you know, know when, look, I'm out, I'm gonna go ahead and chill. And they obviously they off today. It might be, you know, granted, all kinds of factors, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I know how to maneuver my way through spaces of like, you know, I know when it's like, all right, let me go ahead and, or, you know, let me go ahead and move, let me move a different way. You know, let me be calm. And sometimes it was hard because I'm like, you don't have to be this, you know, it don't have to be this emotional, you know, it don't have to be this. We can, why can't we just, you know, but, you know, having the ability to do that, yeah, it could be tough sometimes, but
yeah,
you know, I've learned how to, you know, how to maneuver, man. I mean, again, we've had our spaces where we, you know, spats or whatever, but I think for me, it was just learning how to, because I had to, it made it easier. I mean, I really don't have a lot of like negative spaces with my sisters, like running, just normal, you know what I mean? But I think I learned how to navigate.
I think the biggest thing for me is just understanding, like, first of all, we're all emotional. Yeah. Women are just more emotional. Yeah. At times, you know, there's definitely times where men are more emotional. But look, I don't want to make it like women are, you know, it's definitely times, but in those moments, whether dealing with men or women, right? I think the biggest thing is just, like you said, just understanding, like, or just trying to look at, like, okay, so what are you saying? What is going on? Are you yelling at me because Robby did something? Or did you just come from a long day of work? You were stuck in traffic. You got a flat tire. You cracked your phone. And now I'm the first person that you talk to after dealing with all that. Right? And so is you really pissed at me, or is you just hungry?
So the key is you ask the question. There's knowing how to navigate a space. If you know that the space is hot, you know how to navigate. Actually, it's a communicating. And a lot, I think the barrier with, you know, dealing with emotions is the communicating part, like knowing how to communicate, knowing, you know, just you ask the question, like, what is this really about? Is this really towards me, or is this something that has happened that is a product of this, whatever this is, right? Ask the question. Don't, you know, not, because if you come out for me wrong, I'm gonna snap back, but it's like, then we going, you know what I mean? It's going to be a thing. So was that really for me? Yeah, that takes emotional intelligence. Wait a minute. Was that for me, or was that maybe let me ask the question. You good? How was your day? Was it something that happened that got you all with me? You know? Yeah, just that question, that communicating part.
Exactly.
That's big too. Knowing how to communicate around emotions. You know, because I think I was just talking to my sister today. It's like, yo, you can't always react on emotion. You got to have some type of rationale, like, yo, all right, we may be heated right now, but you know what? Let me just to get a rational space. You know what I mean? Let me think. Let me just calm. You know, breathe. That's why my thing is. My sister tell you, my thing is, yo, let's breathe. Just breathe. Let's breathe for a second. You know what I mean? Let's take a second, because you know, maybe we can, you know, navigate this a different way and, you know, have a better outcome, or we can realize why if there's a problem, why is the problem? Why is it a problem?
I think something else too, that I saw it on the TED Talk, where it's like people take things personal. It takes things so personal. It's like I said, if you have that moment where somebody snaps at you, now you want to snap back because who you snapping at? Yeah. But then it's like,
for real.
Yeah, but it's like having that emotional intelligence to really, because it took me a while, but from in the beginning, once I started, I'm like, So, because the question I'm like, okay, so why are you yelling at me? Because now you got me thinking, what did I do? Because I know I didn't do nothing. And then an hour later, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, it really wasn't even you. This, that, and the fourth. I'm like, first of all, I know it wasn't me because I ain't do nothing.
Right.
And if I did do something, like, you know what I mean? Then that's different. But it's like the biggest thing. What I'm trying to say is just like not taking things so personal.
Yeah.
You know, in every aspect of life. You know, if you're in traffic, somebody cut you off. It's like they don't know you. It's hard to think about that in that moment because, like, you know, I really want to cut you off too, but like,
no, I do feel personal though because you cut me off and then you looking at me in the little mirror right there. I see you looking at me. All right, got you. All right, wait till this car passes. No, for real, I got you.
Speed up just to get behind you too. Nah, yeah, I feel you. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect with my emotions because there's times where I'm like, yo, man, you could do that. You know, they come from a family, you know, but you know, we're real emotional people, you know what I'm saying? And just that the culture, you know what I mean? Just, you know, it's a development thing. You got to develop it. And I think I do a lot better now. That's why I feel like with my sisters, like, they, you know, I'm little bro, but I'm big bro, you know, because I think I do a lot better now with like navigating the spaces, you know, because again, I had, you know, I had experience with it, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
I also feel like it's from the way we just are. Like, you know, a lot of times women are more emotional, but I think it's because of how, you know, they go about it. As a man, you know, something happens, you still mad, but like you trying to already figure out a solution, but you can't think of solution if you're mad. You know, you can't think straight. So it's okay. Let me calm down. Let me figure out what's going on. And I feel like that's just how we come at everything because we're problem solvers. You know what I mean? But a lot of women, they're not. So it's like they do run off of the emotion, but as men, we know we got to think logically because that's the best way to find a solution. So I feel like that's that disconnect right there. Now there is a lot of women who think logically. You know what I mean?
There we are.
They know like, okay, I'm just upset right now. Sometimes I'll be talking to my girl and she'll come back later and be like, you know what? Like I knew that, but I just wanted to be mad in the moment. You know what I mean? And that's understandable. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, though, you still got to be logical when making these decisions. And because we're problem solvers, I feel like it's a lot easier for us to do that.
Yeah, man. I think it's just like, again, life is balanced, bro. It's like you crashing out all the time. It's like you always, you know what I mean? Like at some point, it goes for both men and women. It's like, yo, you hot head all, you know, you just moving on emotion. Everything is on emotion. It's like at some point you're gonna have to. Because there's consequences. If you just acting on emotions, there's some consequences either way. So it's like at some point you got to just sit back and be like, yo, man, I gotta chill out, you know, because, you know, I can't always do that. And like you said with the men, it's like, yo, we leaders, you know, we you know, most you got families. How you can't be, you know, making decisions on your emotions all the time. You got people that need you. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that rationale. You got to have that problem solved. Like at the end of the day, I got an issue. I got people depending on me. So it's like, I can't just be out here just on my emotions, you know what I mean? Because your emotions emotions are fickle. You know, one day you happy, when you know, you cool. Next thing you could be, you know, emotion, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to having that control and that takes development. You got to develop that control. You know, because a lot of times it's easier for some people than it is for others. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I also feel like we be in denial about our emotions, and that's why it'd be hard to control them as well, because you don't want to, like, sometimes, right? So we have a lot of conversations, and sometimes we'll bicker, not argue, you know what I mean, but both of us trying to prove our point. And sometimes he'll say some stuff that make me salty. I'll be mad. And I'm like, all right, bro. And it's like, but understanding, like, okay, you know what? Am I mad because what he said, like, disrespecting me, or I'm just salty? And you feel me? Yeah. So it's like, all right, you know what, bro, you got it, bro. All right.
You gotta just call a spade, call it what it is.
For real.
If you check that's the part. The inner check is like, yo, you first of all, kind of mess with, you know, that pride part. Like, hold on, homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of hit. So it's like just checking that part. Like, yo, having that emotional touch. Like, yo, you really about to respond because you really have a reason to, or you just respond on your emotion because what he said kind of hit you wrong. Now, yeah, we could talk about it, but how, you know, you going to pop off, or we going to talk about it, like, you know what I mean, in a productive manner. Either way, it could be productive, but it's like, what outcome you want? But it's like, yeah, it's just that part, man. Check that inner part, man. Checking it. And I think, you know, you just got to stop for a second, breathe. You know what I mean? Sometimes like, yeah, like, yeah, I think that's the key. Yeah.
First of all, I'm glad you admitted that because I thought it was just me.
Oh, no.
I'd be hot with you, bro. I'd be pissed. But 9 times out of 10, though, it's not even that he said nothing crazy. It's just, well, one, he's right. And it's not. I don't hate that he right, but it's just like I don't like that you right now.
That
like
part, that part, my guy. Yeah.
I want to be.
That's the part of his. Like he got a point, right?
I do. As soon as he hang up, I immediately I either call somebody or I just start thinking like, what he said. Is there a little bit of truth to that? Hold on, let me call my mom. Hey, you know what Soldier just said? Yeah, like, but
again, it's just coming mature because if you're immature, you ain't gonna admit to like, yo, he got a point. Nah, I'm making sure this. He know that. Nah, I don't agree. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it takes a mature person to be like, yeah, you know what, bro, you got a point. You know what I mean? And maybe where you said it or how it came off, I ain't like it. But at the end of the day, let's just, you might got a point, my guy. Yeah.
You be hitting me with that script. Let me know when I'm lying.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me know.
Going back to the fact that you grew up with all girls. Yeah. Like, did you find it harder to raise your sons after growing up with all girls?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. It's crazy. I don't think so because, I mean, I had a good relation with my pops. My pops, he was around. Like, I spent time with my pops. Like, he was there. We, went to games, baseball game, basketball game. My pops was, active. So it's like, for me, that came easy. Like, my son's already, my oldest son, he's into sports. So it's like that part, that's innate. I know that. I think for me, it kind of was a little harder. I'm gonna be honest, because it's like, to tap into that space of like understanding, hey, I got a teenager now. Like, she's a teenager. Remember, I think that part of remembering like how your sisters was when they were teenagers, right? She's at that age, and you can't be, because with my sons, I'd be like, yo, you know what I mean? I will not. I can't do that with her, right? So I gotta be like more. I gotta be more conscious of that emotional space when it's like correcting, right? I gotta be calmer. Damn, why you yelling so much? I'm like, I can yell at my sons and be like, they get it, but with her, it's like, I gotta, be a little bit more calm. I understand, like, I can't, parent all the way, understanding that part of like just making sure you understand that she's a girl, you know what I mean? Been tapping into like, hey, I may not be able to parent her like I parent my son. So that part was the challenge for me as a father, because she was my first, you know what I mean? And again, ironically, I don't think I was, for me, I wasn't ready, you know what I mean? And then to find out it was a girl, I'm like, connect the dots. Is like, oh, I grew up with all girls, and now I have a girl that I'm responsible for. My sister, I'm not necessarily, I look out for, but I'm not this, she's going to be looking out for me for everything for the rest of her life. So it's a different dynamic a little bit if you think about it, right? And then how do you parent? How do you parent a daughter? I had to raise my sisters, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to, correct them. So that navigating those parts, understanding like at a certain point, there's different navigation, different things you gotta do. And I think with her, it was the most challenging. Ironically, it was a little bit more challenging because I had to go back to being that awareness of like, even in your parenting, you're going to have to understand, like, you can't yell right now. She's dealing with, you're dealing with a lot right now. You can't yell. You may not be able to yell right now. When my son is like, we can just, not saying that, that's just that space. Like, in that aspect, I think that was the biggest adjustment. And I think it was a little bit harder just grasping that, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, I ain't a parent yet. So I can't even tell you. But like, hearing it, it's like, I kind of get it though, because like, so I got 2 sisters on my mama's side, of course, because I got like 10 or 11 siblings, but it's really the mama side that count.
Okay, so I got you.
I'm being for real, it is. But like my younger sister, she wasn't really like, when growing up, she was a crybaby, of course, but like soon as she got right, like she wasn't like too emotional, so like it wasn't. Honestly, I was probably more emotional than her growing up, to be honest with you. She was more chill and stuff like that. But I can't fathom it. Even dealing with girls now, like, I really feel like it is probably easier to raise a son as a man. You know what I mean? It'd probably be easier because your daughter is like, even though she's in the wrong, you got to come at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you got to come at it right. Yeah.
How you be gentle.
Yeah. Yes, that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like, this is the lessons I'm learning even now. It's like, just learning how to, that emotional intelligence is again, with your sons, it's definitely a little different. You know what I mean? Not saying it's easy or anything. It's just different, because you got to know, this is a female. It's a different space. The emotional is different. She's dealing with a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. On that aspect of you just isolating that aspect, it's definitely different. Yeah. And I wouldn't have thought it would. I mean, I would have never thought, raising a daughter, like how I would connect and relate to me having all sisters being a girl. It's like, I wouldn't have thought it would have been hard, but I never thought about it, until it happened, and then it's like, man, this is a journey. You gotta, it's different. It's different space, and you gotta know how to navigate that, I think now it's like, for me and my daughter, it's like, building that relationship where it's like, I want to just be able to talk. I don't want to be the day where it's like, I can't talk to him. You know what I mean? I can't go to my dad because it's like, it's all, I want you to be able to come in and whatever. Let's be comfortable enough. We build that relationship enough where you're comfortable, and that's going to take you being gentle, being soft. Man, we're not told that you know what I mean? We talk on that tough, you got to be tough but you got to learn to tap into that sensitive side and be able to, understand, in that space, especially with your daughters. Yeah, you gotta understand. And with your sons too. Again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but again, with the female, it's a little bit different because, when my son, my oldest, he just, how these young boys, they nonchalant, man. they just like, nah, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? They nonchalant, so it's like, so it's like I could just shoot with him and it'd be what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's understanding how to navigate that part, just the gentle side, and just understanding that I may not want to I want to yell right now. I may not want to, but it's like,
Yeah. I think that's something I'm navigating with my little brother. It's just, one, allowing him the space to be able to articulate himself. Because when he was younger, like I really don't care about nothing you got to say right now. But he is at the age where he can talk now, and I want him to be able to talk because I know when I was his age, I didn't talk.
That's the part.
So start talking now, so that when you get to my age, it's effortless. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. And then, but also, it's hard. All these hormones, all these different things. It's not cool to talk about your feelings. Yeah. In middle school, we don't talk about our feelings. Right. Yeah, I'm talking about the game and the girl that I think is cute, but she's not really that cute, and all this other type stuff. So, but just building that up, whether like you said, like for your daughter, but then also for the boys too, because it's important for all of us to have that emotional intelligence, exactly, and the ability to communicate. There it is. To be able to talk not just about your feelings, but anything. If you can talk about your feelings, you can talk about anything. That's it. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's the hardest thing, especially us as men, to talk about our feelings. Yeah. How I feel. Yeah. First of all, I don't know. What does that mean? And then to be able to communicate that to other men, right? To be able to sit here, and have this conversation, right? To be able to tell him that he was right, even though I hated that he was right. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but
like you said, communicating, bro. Learning how to communicate at an early age. I think that's something that I wish you struggle with. I wish I had learned, and it's something definitely that we want to. And again, that's why it's like I said, learning how to talk to my kids, because it's like I hear a lot. I can't talk. Just feel like I can't talk. You're not listening, right? And then listening and allowing them to talk, like that part is like, all right, let me hear you. Talk to me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And giving that space, because again, a lot of it's like we didn't have some spaces like that where parents tell us, look, you gonna do this, I ain't even numb, do this, and that's it. You don't talk back. Go sit down. So it's like that difference of like, I want to hear what you got to say. Learn how to communicate now. Learn learn how to express yourself, so that you're not struggling when you get 20. You know what I mean? You're not, struggling with that while you're trying to build relationships with other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How does loving yourself affect how you love other people?
It's big. If you don't love yourself, you're not gonna know how to love anybody else. You know, I really think that's that in a nutshell. If you don't know how to love and to know yourself enough to love yourself, you won't. You can't. It's impossible. If I don't know how to treat me, if I don't know any, how to, be good to me, and that's in the space, how am I going to do it to anybody else? That's going to be a big struggle. It's like, you got to love yourself. You got to be able to tap into that space where you find yourself and know yourself enough. You got to, in order to, you got to know you, be honest with you. That part of love is like the honesty part. Is like, if you can't do that with yourself, you ain't doing it with nobody else. Right. It's going to be hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's big. If you can love yourself, if you don't love yourself, it's gonna be hard to love other people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
How you feel about that? What would he say? Oh, I agree. So the question I have for you after that is, did you always love yourself, or what was that moment where Terrell really loved Terrell and knew who Terrell was?
Man, that's a journey that didn't happen not that long ago, right? Because it's like, again, we navigate through life, and again, we don't have these conversations at home. We don't have these conversations in spaces and opportunity to talk and to express our feelings. And for me, it's like, I'm the type of person. I'm again growing up with all women, right? I'm more to myself. I internalize a lot. I don't talk much. You know what I mean? When I do. But it's like when I'm me, I'm just chilling. It's like I'm good with just being by myself. I know how to just be alone. But it's like, the question was, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh no, what was that?
What did you use? I'm sorry about that. My bad.
I think it was, what was the moment that you knew that Terrell?
Yeah. Oh, how did that develop? It's like over time, it's like, just life of and how, realizing that I wasn't good. You know what I mean? The internalization and all the years that I just, because again, I gotta being that provider, the protector is like, they gotta see me strong. You know what I mean? I think the part where I really connected with me and really found me was when I realized I'm broken, right? I ain't right. I got a lot in me and so it's like, I can't effectively be there for you if I'm broken. I can't help you if I'm broken. So it's like, I think it came to a point where it's like, I admitted to that space of like brokenness where it's like, then it's like, all right, well, you're broken. You got to start fixing it, start doing that. And here it is, the internal work. Yeah, that internal work, bro. That's the bear, like dealing with you, you know what I mean? And understanding you, your flaws, the good, the bad, the ugly, and embracing and being like, yo, this is me, and developing into like, and making it so that it's developed into the person you're supposed to be. And it's not a negative thing, but it's, you make it positive and but you gotta be honest with yourself. I think that honesty is big. Being honest with yourself, and that happened with me when I finally was honest with myself and like, yo, you not good, because I'm the type of guy, I'm good,
I'm straight.
Had to, all women, you good right now? I'm good. Y'all good? No, I'm making sure y'all good. You know what I'm saying? So I developed like, yo, I'm good all the time. I'm worn inside. I got a lot going on. I'm stressing. I'm not, mentally, I'm just not there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just being honest, like, yo, you not good, and being knowing how to articulate that, communicate that, to people. Because if you never do it, I don't know to them I'm good. People depend on me. I'm not used to, being in that space where it's like, I'm comfortable telling people like, yo, I'm not good. How do I talk about that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just, just in that internal work of like, developing that space of like, yo, all right, let's walk through this. So we're gonna have to figure out how you want to get comfortable. Like, how am I gonna get to this space where I can tell people like, yeah, nah, it ain't gonna work. I'm not good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's a journey, bro. So I really like got to the especially when you got to heal, right? When you get to the point where it's like, yo, I got to do some inner work. You know what I mean? Because like life is gonna put you there. Yeah. Life has a way of putting you to the space where you do going sink or swim. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's all, a lot of it's gonna be on that, doing that inner work. And I think when I just finally was like, yo, I gotta heal. I gotta deal with these internal scars, these things that I didn't talk about, the things that I internalized all these years, being comfortable talking about it. and dealing with it, and not just covering it up, because it's, yeah.
I think the biggest thing, I had about a month last year, people ask me how I'm doing, and I'd be like, I can't answer that question right now, and I think that's a part of being real, is like not trying to be like, oh no, I'm okay. I don't know right now, and I think more people get to that point of really being, you can be that honest where you can really be like, I don't know. Yeah. Right. But I'm here though. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not just, especially us as men, Yes. And I figured that out at 21 when I went through a breakup in 2021. Like, people ask me, how are you doing? I said, I can't answer that question right now, but I'll get back to you though. You know what I mean? And that allowed me to be able to allow myself to heal. Absolutely. Versus acting like everything's cool when it's really not.
Part. That being honest, right? Just being honest with yourself is, man, that's the biggest part. It's like internally, like saying, I'm not right. I need help. You know me, I'm just never, I'm not the type to ask for help. I'm not used to ask for help. You know what I mean? And to that, as a man, that ego part, man, I need help. Go and get the help. Letting the ego part aside of like, I need to go get some help. You know what I'm saying? I need to go check, or whatever I got to do to get the help. You know what I'm saying? And then you saying this, telling that person that, hey, I don't know, that could be the very conversation that leads you into something that could help you. You know what I'm saying? So just that part of just learning how to communicate it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, it's still hard for me to say I don't know or be like, I'm not okay. But I'm funny with words, so I'll say things like, I'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that one.
I'll be okay, because that's what I tell myself. Like, a lot of people be like, how you end up dealing with this or this, and it's like, I can't tell you. Yeah. Like, take it day by day. I will be okay. I keep telling myself that until I believe it. You know what I mean? And just deal with it, because what I realized, and it really hit me, and it was crazy, because my little niece, shout out Maddie. So when they moved out, it was just a couple months, and she grew a lot. And it was like, as babies are supposed to, but it's like, the world will move on with or without you. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's like, I may not know where the end is, but as long as I can keep navigating myself each day, like, I'll be okay, and I will handle it. You know what I mean? Whenever we cross that bridge, I think that's me. I go by the name Soldier. That's my mentality though. Yes, no matter what happens, as long as my heart is beating, and I'm not, paralyzed, preferably from the waist down, and if I am paralyzed, I hope my waist down is good, but
my God,
but like, like I'm gonna keep it chugging, and that's how I mentally see it as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, man, just not knowing how to say it, and then just understanding, like, just honestly, I mean, I don't know right now, but just understanding the fact this ain't forever. This is temporary. Right in this moment, nah. And it is like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I think you say, I think the societal thing is like, if you say something other than I'm good, it seems like it's a bad, thing. It's like, but it's like, nah, in this moment, I don't know, but it ain't gonna be like you said, right now. Yeah. This is the right now. This is the moment. So,
what's something about love no one prepared you for?
Simple. It's work, man. Love is work. It's action. It's work, bro. You can't love without working, bro. It's action. You gotta work at that thing, brother.
Not for real.
Yeah, man. That part. That part. It ain't no, when you feel like that. It's the commitment of love, right? It no matter what, you got a good, bad, and the ugly. It's work. Especially when you think about it in the space of commitment. You in it, you in it, and it takes work. And you, like, go back to the loving self. You got to work on you, that inward thing. It takes work. A lot of people ain't willing to do the work, bro. They really do. They really do it. That's why a lot of people still internally messed up, because it takes work, and love is again, it's an action word. So whatever you say, love in any capacity, it's going to take work. It's a sacrifice, it's a sacrifice. the sacrifice, getting it in the spiritual way. If God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that's that sacrifice, bro. It's love is a sacrifice.
Talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Oh Lord.
Uh-oh. Y'all scared me. Like, whoa. Like I hit a nerve or something.
Nah,
you good.
when we talk about that, it's just always interesting to hear like what people say about, love, and like it's crazy. Like I've just been noticing like all of our definitions for like love be different, but it's the same in the end. It's just perspective, how you looking at it. But for the most part, it's all the same. Like for instance, I always say like, matter of fact, I'm gonna ask that after we ask the last question for real. We can come back to that.
Okay.
Shoot, well, what I'm gonna say is that sacrifice part is why I'm just like, people don't want to sacrifice. People don't want to give anything up to be in any type of relationship. You have to sacrifice if you're a parent. You know what I mean? You have to sacrifice your time, your energy, your money. You know what I mean? You have to sacrifice it. And the one I'm talking about is intimate relationship, right? If you're in an intimate relationship, it's a sacrifice.
Yes,
I've heard so many times where people are like, oh, I don't want to give up myself to be in this relationship. And it's like, well, then you don't want to be in a relationship then. Because like you said, like looking at it like that agape love that God has for us, it's like he gave his son.
Yeah.
Why did he have to let his son die? It's to show that is what love is. That you have to give something up in order to receive this. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like that is the ultimate gift, right? That is the ultimate like metaphor or showing of what it looks like for us to love people. Is to give something up to show that this is how much I bang with you. Yep. Is that I would give you something, right? Like any, whatever it is, whatever it means the most to you, you would give that up for the people that you love. You know what I mean? Like that, like one of the biggest things is money, right? Like people give up, like people talk about like why Christmas, why Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, why birthdays, why you got to spend all this money? And it's like, you don't have to, but that's the first thing that people do is spend all this money to show you that this is what I'm willing to give up, this to show you that I love you this much. You know what I mean? To get you the thing that you want the most or that you think you want. You know what I mean? Like that. I just think that is just so powerful. And it did hit me because I've had people that aren't willing to sacrifice, right? So then it's like, do you really love me then if you're not willing to do that? You know what I mean? If you're not willing to do the things that it takes to be with me. You know what I mean? Sorry to go on my tangent.
No, you good, but like you good. I feel like I was talking too much, but nah, you good, bro. That sacrifice, but it just means that you gotta give up something, like you said, bro. And that's big. Is like I gotta, if I love you, I got to be willing to, if it means I got to give up my ego or my perspective and understand that it's about that common ground, right? The sacrificing that common ground. But like, that sacrifice is big, man, in intimate space, because you in an intimate space and love's in the space, you've got to get it. That's it. You got to give up something. And that's that part of love is like, I'm willing to give this for the greater good of us. You stop being just me and us now. So like you throw away with just you, now it's about the greater good of us and that part.
I agree with what you were saying. I would just like you to clarify when you said like the whole like giving, like that person was like, I don't want to lose myself, or did you say give up, like give themselves up? Like
me.
Okay. So what do you mean? Like, elaborate on that. What do you mean by that? Like, in that sense,
I think when they were speaking, or is that the person that they were before they met me, they want to continue to be that person wholeheartedly as we enter into this new chapter of our lives.
So without changing anything about themselves,
like,
okay, I see what you're saying. Because at first it's like hearing it out loud, being like, like, I don't want to lose myself in this relationship. That's actually very valid to a T. You know what I mean? Because there is certain stuff that it is definitely, you're going to have to give up. You know what I mean? Like, just regardless, like, even if you're not on a biblical sense, but you know, two become one. Like there's some habits and things that you used to do or how you used to be that is gonna have to be left behind. Yep. You know what I mean? Like for instance, I used to be very reckless out my mouth, and the stuff I was saying was not a lie. It was just I would come aggressively, and you know what I mean. But like that's who I am. Right. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's who I am as a person. But hopping in a relationship, I know for facts I cannot be like that. Right. You know, even if I want to spaz, even if I want to get mad, it's like I know I can't. I give that part up. But in the same sense, I can't give up my whole identity either, though. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like I wanted you to clarify, because it's like someone telling me, yeah, I don't want to lose myself. Okay. But you're definitely going to have to change, because you're going to have to grow. Like you can't be the same person that I met so many years ago. We have to grow. Yeah, and that's word. To grow, you have to change. So you know what I mean? So I agree with that. Yeah, the growth part is like you say, you used to be regular. That's just a growth part. Like, I got to learn how to tame some things, or I can't say that right now. It's growth, you know. And again, in relationships, and especially when it's the intimate space, it's like relationships will show you. Oh yeah, it'll be the mirror. So it's like at the end of the day, it'll show you. So you got to be willing to say, hey, if this isn't working for this situation, am I willing to give it up? Am I willing to change? Where's the common ground? Where it's like I could still be me, but it's like this, you know, I'll grow in this area because it's not beneficial. And at the end of the day, maybe, you know, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it ain't, you know, it's not that bad. But it's like, because I'm me, this is how I am. So it's like, but again, I love you enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna look from your lens. If you my partner, I'm gonna look from your lens and have understanding, right? That's love. That's the point. I'm giving you understanding. Like, hey, I'll understand this to the point that I have to adjust and grow from this. You know that I love you enough to do it. I ain't gonna do it for everybody else. I ride with you, so I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? That part. You know.
Yeah, and I think that does take a lot to be able to do that. But I would say that's a part of. I ain't gonna go too deep into it, but I would say that's a part of true love, is being able to look from somebody else's perspective and really be able to work that into the way that you think, right? Yeah, I'll leave that right there.
I agree with that. I do. I just know it's harder for some people to have that perspective. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be some people who like, and it's not out of like ill intent or nothing. It's just fear, or like, you know, they can't get outside of their own head or emotions to even notice you know, the other side. So it's like
so again, it's like that internal, like again, you got to do that work, man, because again, if it's like you can't get past that point, it's going to affect the relationship. And a lot of people they can't get past that part, and a lot of relationships are messed up because of that. If you can attack, you know, deal with that inner part, you know, that's the biggest thing, is like dealing with the inner part, be able to do, you know, to give to the space, you know what I'm saying, and be willing to, you know, because it is hard, man. It's a space. Hard. It's work, man. Yeah, for sure.
What does the season in your life look like for you?
This season, man, honestly, this is, for me, it's just like building. Like, this is a season for like really building. Like, I think I'm really just like building infrastructure for business, infrastructure for family, infrastructure for how I want life to look. You know what I mean? I think this is a big part of this season. It's like, man, this is building, and it's fun, but it's challenging. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I got to learn different disciplines. I got to, you know, develop different spaces. I got to grow, you know, first with that growth part, and I got to, you know, be willing to sacrifice in the spaces. But I think it's like building, man. I think like, you know, just growing and building and healing. Yeah, I think that's that part for me. Because again, like I said, it ain't too far fetched, you know. I'm still processing through a lot of spaces, but it's like just, you know, being, you know, connected with myself enough to heal. I think that too. Yeah, just building, man, just building, and just giving doing what I was meant to do, you know, put here to do, and in my way, and like just in all aspects, like in every day, like understanding like, yo, what is your purpose? What are you here for? Right. You know what I'm saying? And you build upon that. And you got to know yourself if because a lot of our identities get, misconstrued in a lot of spaces, traumas and, past, all that. You lose yourself, and understanding that part and just like building from that. I think that's where I'm at. I'm building, bro. Like that's for me, this season is like building and in all aspects, business, family,
Yeah.
And
I felt that.
Yeah, man. Spiritually, growing, building that, in all aspects, is building, and help. And it's anybody. And again, like, what is my purpose? My purpose is to, serve. Yeah, we're all servants, right? Our job is to serve, just serve each other. So it's like, how can I build upon that? How am I serving my community? Doing what I need to do to not just talk about it, but just be about it. So just building, bro. Building. Yes, sir.
I feel like I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I just told some people, like, these next 3 months, like, I mean, I'll still be in contact, but I just need to focus on, this brand, myself, like just making sure that I'm 100% doing what I need to do to get to where I'm trying to go. And in the end, it's going to, in the end, it's going to be good for everybody. But that might mean that right now you might not hear from me but once a week. Or if that, maybe every 2 weeks. And that might seem as if I'm neglecting people but it's like I'm doing what I need to do to ensure that my future is straight. And like I said, everybody else will benefit from it. And some people might say it's selfish but sometimes you got to do that to, like, you got to build, and you got to take some time for yourself. Right. And then even take some time to be able to, as believers, hear from God, right?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes you have a whole bunch of chaos. It's always something going on, and yes, sir. Sometimes people think God is this loud, booming voice, but sometimes he's a small whisper. Voice. You gotta, that's why fasting and praying is so pivotal.
Yes, sir.
You eliminate all distractions and everything else around you to be able to hear from Him and see where He wants you to go, where He's trying to go. Because we've talked about a whole bunch of plans. We talked about strategic spending plans and budgets and, all this type stuff. But what about the plan that God has for you?
That's right.
And are you aligning all these things with what He got? Yep. Right. And because I have a plan, I have an idea for where I want this to go. But He might be like, well, hold on. Nah, no, you're supposed to be over here.
That's big, man.
You know what I mean?
Sir. And it's just to tap in on that is being in line with what God has for you. And for me, what I've learned is it should all be a beautiful marriage, right? My career, my for me, it's like my career. I didn't know how, because again, I'm active in church ministry and all that, and I didn't know, sometimes it's hard to understand, well, how does all this align? And then when you get aligned with what God has for you, it all aligns. Like, I didn't know, like, how much faith would be involved in starting, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it should all be a marriage. It should all just align and be a beautiful marriage of like what I'm good at, what my gifts are should all be in a line. Like I'm good at numbers and all that, and I'm in that field, and I also have been able to incorporate faith in it. You feel what I'm saying? And it all works. It should work. It should just be a beautiful space of like, hey, if I'm sitting down talking to homie about, finances and this, and then we get to the space of like, hey, we start talking about faith. Hey, yeah, now I'm in that spiritual aspect. Hey, let's talk about our God, how it creates that, and it opens the door for, hey, maybe I can minister to that person, or maybe I could talk to him about God. You feel what I'm saying? So you should be all aligned. Like you say, when you get in line with God, it should be a perfect marriage where nothing should conflict when you're flowing in where you're supposed to be. It all should just flow. Right. That's what I've learned is like, it should all flow. And I feel like, that's when you really tapped into the space, when it all just flows together. I don't have to, be different. I'm me all day, every day. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in the space. Yeah. It should align, man.
Finish this sentence. Love is
man, love is, and I'll say this, and I don't know if this is a phrase, but love is ugly at times. Love is painful. Love is, it's messy at times. It's ugly, but again, that's the beauty of it, right? Again, if you think about the ultimate love, Jesus, his sacrifice, it wasn't pretty. That process was not pretty. What he had to go through was not beautiful, but he endured it because he knew it was a part of his purpose, and he loved us so much that he endured it. Love is sometimes not pretty. It's not that beautiful space. Sometimes it gets there, but the navigation through it in the grand scheme of things, it's a beautiful thing. Even though it was ugly, that process wasn't pretty. Look at the outcome of it.
Right.
We have access to eternal life because of what he did through love. You know what I mean? For sake of love. So yeah, it's not pretty. When you get that mindset going in, it's like, hey, it ain't gonna be pretty all the time. It ain't gonna be easy all the time. It ain't gonna be, all glamour. But at the end of the day, you'll know how much you committed to that space when those spaces come. Because if you just getting all the holidays relationship goals or this and that, or love and this and that, love. The beauty of it, some people get that little, idea, and when they get hit with the reality of it, the sacrifice of love, the fact that you're gonna have to give up some stuff, and you're gonna have to see you're gonna have to work on you. That part can get a little messy, a little ugly, a little hard. So love is that, but it also is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, man. Yeah.
I think that is the beauty of it. Like, I think I quoted today from a meeting yesterday was people, when they face adversity, they're going to do one or two things. They're either going to give up or grow. And so I think that's just the part when it comes to relationships and love. It's like it's hard. Like you said earlier, it's work.
Oh yeah.
And people don't like to work. People don't like to do what it takes to, you know what I mean? Like Will Smith said on the podcast, he said the difference between getting a B and an A in school, like people don't really get like what that is. Like you can get a B, but that going from a B to an A, like that is late nights. That is staying after school. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is work. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to go from being a college athlete to an NFL. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you might be able to eat some Twinkies in college, but you get to the NFL, like it is straight chicken and rice.
Straight up.
And can you do that every day?
Right.
I tried it. It sucks. Mm-hmm. It's dumb. You know what I mean? Like it's work in everything. You know what I mean? And people don't think about that. You know, they only think about like you said, like the
superficial part of it, right? The societal part of it is like, again, in our society don't make it better because it's like all we get is glimpses and glamours of people in their relationship. It looks good, you know. You don't know what even if it is in reality, because a lot of times it's lying, or they just giving you the good part. You don't see this other stuff. We don't get to see that, so we just get the idea of like thinking it's just, again. We could just look the part, right. But if it's really solid and it's really legit, it's going to take work, and you got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to say, you know what, maybe I got to, deny this part of my life or be the bigger person, or step up or give something up that I've never had to. Something you're going to have to do something that you may have never had to do before. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to go to that lens? That's the part that you got to connect with. It don't just get my man. Look, I keep seeing my man like, man, I don't know, man. I feel you, man. Because again, it's like these are conversations we gotta have, man. It's like, it's not just glitz and glamour. I know society and Instagram, Facebook, you could see something, but you don't know, like, it's gonna take some. That whole relationship goal thing that was out is like, it's cool, it's good, but you don't know what type of sacrifice they had to make. Mm-hmm. You don't know what they had to endure. You don't know what kind of things has happened within their dynamic that almost broke them down, or so maybe they did give up, but they you don't know what they had to do. They maybe had to go to some type of counselor or whatever. You don't know the work they had to put in for that part. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's like you said, people don't want to do work. I think we just feel like in our society, it's like we just look the part, right? But that you got to put the work in, man. Got to put the work in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny.
It's just this generation.
Yeah, man. It's a thing, man. Again, it's a society is so instantaneous. Everything's microwave. Anything you want instant. It's like that process part is something we've disconnected out of society. People don't want to wait. It's instant gratification. You get access to anything. It's like, now in reality, like work. That part is work. It's not, everything ain't instant. It may take you years to develop some spaces, man. It may take you, it took another person maybe a couple months, may take you years. Are you willing to work hard? Are you willing to? You may fail at it. Are you willing to keep trying? You know, you willing to, like you say, work them late nights? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to, make that sacrifice for, so that it can work? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah,
I agree, man. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and then as men, it's a whole nother level because we leaders. We the leaders, and a bulk of the sacrifices, like we take on that sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like as men, leaders, and leadership is about sacrifice. You know what I mean? Leadership is about sacrifice and being leaders of your family. You gotta be the first one that's willing to sacrifice. In a relationship, with your significant, are you willing to be the one? You know what? I'll do. You know what I mean? I'll do this. I'll take. I'll be the one who meets in the middle. Mm-hmm. Or you always want them to meet in the middle? Are you willing to do what it takes to meet in the middle? Work, man.